I'm Tami Sauer with the Phillipsburg Chamber and Main Street and Tourism, and today we have Ken Rahjes here with us, and so he is our state representative, and he is going to be on the ballot this fall to become the Secretary of State. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we'll stay local for now. We're going to discuss the cell phone ban. So if you could kind of lead into that with us and what that all means for us locally.
This year in the legislative session, there's been talk over the last couple of years of banning cell phones in schools. And what does that mean? There's a lot of discussion of does that mean just during the school day? Does that mean just high schoolers? What exactly? Because we know technology is used a lot in schools now.
Right.
Many schools issue tablets or laptops to the students, and so what does that all mean? Well, we have some educators and so on that are in there and said, well, they did some research and shows that doesn't really help students learning, and maybe just sensory overload by having so much technology and having screens in their face all the time, especially their personal devices where they're using all the different apps or texting their friends or Snapchat or whatever all those things are. And so the idea was, some schools have done bans, and we appreciate that. Personally, I thought the school boards should be able to decide, but some school boards were kind of dragging their feet or didn't want to make that call. They didn't want to be the bad guy to say, hey, no more cell phones in schools. So the legislature did. So these are basically personal devices that would be banned from kind of bell to bell is what we said. Because we had a lot of discussion about what happens on road trips, what happens going to ball games, going to other events, and of course parents go, I want to be able to get a hold of my child. Yes. And so we've heard some of, well, I'll turn in a my kid will turn in a cell phone, but that's going to be a burner phone. They're still going to have, because I want to make sure I have access. And probably rightly so. I mean, there's a lot of situations going on. So I think it's going to be a learning process, but it happened right away. And so even before the end of the school year, this is happening. And I think some schools did a pretty good job, and others are now complying kind of with that. It's really all for the benefit of the kids, even though some people say, well, my kid can handle it or so on, but that's happening right away, and we'll see what happens. But it's one of those things that we did. The other thing, Tami, that we did, a couple things of significance, right quick, is we know with the death of Deputy Gady, one of the situations from that is some folks wanted to name part of the highway in his memory, and so we got that passed, and so Highway 36 through the city of Phillipsburg will be designated the Deputy Brenda Chanley Memorial Highway. Okay. And so that's been signed into law, but we're going to do another bill signing for the governor on the 1st of May. That is also the day that he will be kind of enshrined into the fallen officers memorial there on the Capitol grounds. And so that's something that we're able to get done, and our hearts will go out to all the families in all the sides that were dealt with this. The last thing that one of the things that I did, and then we can talk about other things, was that I'm chairman of the Agriculture Committee and have been for the last 6 years. But one of the things that's important in Kansas is whoever would have thought we didn't have enough attorneys. We thought, we always make lawyer jokes, but in many counties in Kansas, about the top 100. Counties, we call it top 100 because the 5 biggest have a lot, but those 100 other counties have just a handful or 1 or 2 lawyers that are practicing. And in Phillips County, I'm not sure exactly how many we have. We don't have that many. And so we put forth a bill signed into law now where we're developing a rural lawyer initiative. A student wants to go to law school from K-State or KU or just graduated, wants to come out to one of these counties. You live, like say you come to Phillips County, you would live, you set up your practice here, and you have bills, your law school, that will be paid back, much like we do for veterinarians and doctors. But it's important that everybody has, the opportunity to have an attorney close rather than having to go an hour, say to Hayes or somewhere else to find legal counsel. And so it's going to be a process, but we think it's important. So why did the guy that had the Ag Committee do it? Well, the Judiciary Committee had a lot of other things going on, and it's just important for rural Kansas, not maybe just for farmers and ranchers, but for all of rural Kansas, and that's why we did it. So those are just a couple, 3 highlights. So session got over a couple of weeks ago, and so ever since then, we've been on the trail. And so, yes, I will be on the ballot first in August, and hopefully we're successful there, and then in November, running for Secretary of State. This is probably the, well, I think this, we did some math. This is the first time since 1960 was the last time. Huck Boyd ran for governor in 1960. And I believe it was 60 or 62, and so that was the last time from Phillips County ran for a statewide office.
Wow, so it's been quite a while.
It has.
So what's inspired you to run for?
Well, I think after 11 years of serving the legislature, it was time to really look at how can we best serve all of Kansas. And I've enjoyed my time. The district is great. It's great to represent really where you grew up, and I've been able to do that and continue to maintain a lot of friendships, and hopefully we did some good here over the time with all the different issues. But Secretary of State is one of those that is an office that maybe gets overlooked. Maybe think, oh, it's just a paper pusher. It's no big deal. But really, there's a lot of different mechanisms. And I think when you think of Secretary of State, the first thing you think of, obviously, is elections. You're the chief election officer for the state of Kansas. And so you help folks like in Phillips County, our county clerk, who is the other one that handles the elections. And, you know, there's a lot of things in the news about, you know, who really runs elections. Does it come from D.C.? Does it come from the president? Does it come from Congress? Well, the Constitution sets up that states run elections. And so you're the chief election officer. You work with all these counties, and then our biggest counties also have election officers. And so that's all they do is work on elections. So, you know, we're going to make sure, and we're going to work with folks to make sure that folks know that their vote is counted, and that they're confident that that election, you know, that their vote is secure, and that it works. And so those are some of the things that we're working on. You know, it's one of those things that we've talked to clerks. They want more training. Right. You know, even though some of them have been there for a long time, there's always something else you can learn. That's and some of the best ways is to learn from each other. Right. Because we've had a pretty large turnover, kind of in that next generation anyway, of county clerks. And so that's important. I think after 11 years, you know, getting along with a lot of folks in the legislature, we'll be able to be successful in some of the things we want to see done, and to have that. Because, you know, as one of the biggest things, as Secretary of State, you don't have a vote. As far as for legislation, you can put forth proposals, but ultimately it's those that are elected that can actually move the laws.
Right, right. There's a lot then. Now, will you stay locally, like residential-wise? You'll stay locally.
I'm not planning on moving.
Okay.
Though, I mean,
So you go
obviously,
back and forth.
I will do that. The office, of course, is in Topeka. It's in the southeast corner of the new docking building, right there on the first floor. It's easy to find. There's a little space there, say if you decide to run for office, you know, maybe for a legislator or a larger office. That's where you kind of go and can do your paperwork. You could do it here in the county as well if you want, but that's where it is. But no, we're this is where we are. We're at Agra, and so that's not going to change. And so that's our plan, and it's only, you know, about 3.5 hours away, give or take, to get there and back. And it's not much like the legislative session, where it's what we've done. Come back on the weekends, people can find us, and I don't foresee that changing. Yeah,
you'll still be approachable for those of us that are local and everything.
Absolutely.
Just at a different level.
I tell people my cell phone is no great catch. If you have my cell phone, you and several thousand other people, and so I still take those calls. I really don't look, and you know, unless it's one of those numbers we know is going to be a scam number. We take calls and try to help people, and that's the biggest thing. Tami, the other thing that is a focus of the Secretary of State's race, I believe, is the business services side. You know, we do a lot of it, and a lot of attention should be on elections. It's important, but we got to keep one thing in mind. When it comes to elections, this is Kansas. You're not running for Secretary of State of those states that are always in the news about all the problems, and we saw some challenges right now that happened this week in Virginia. Well, I'm running for Secretary of State of Kansas. The other states, you know, hopefully they will come to look to us and say, Kansas does it right. And so that's one of the things we're going to work for. Now, the business development side is more of it's the business services right now. And so, you know, if you do business in Kansas, you're going to do business with the Secretary of State. That's one of the front doors of the state. But the business services, I think we can do more. Not necessarily take over economic development, but work with folks like you, work with other entrepreneurs, work with other folks to help grow the economy of the state of Kansas. Right. And that's that's exciting as well, of how can we work with other people. And so that's going to be a big focus of what we do, not only on the campaign trail, but if we're lucky enough to get into office.
Okay. So interesting. I wish we had more time. 10 minutes goes so fast.
It does.
And it is always so interesting. And it's been a long time since we've chatted and
It
caught
is.
up. So, yeah.
It is. Well, we appreciate, I can't thank the folks here in Phillips County and, of course, in the 110th District have been so supportive over the 11 years we've been able to serve them. I'm still a legislator till January,
Yes.
so
Yes.
when we're on to a couple other things. We're on claims against the state. Right. We're in the water task force. That's another huge issue, and those passions won't go away regardless of where I sit. But again, thank you for everything, and we appreciate it. Shout out to Tad.
Yes.
Boy, this is the first time I think we've been without Tad. And Tad always gets me. So I guess we did make that announcement that we about every time we ran for legislature we did it with Tad, but
well, there you go.
But it's an important deal, and so we should encourage people to vote. There's a lot of things, not only all those in the primary, Tami, but also there'll be issue number 1, which is the judicial selection, will also be on the ballot. I'm sure you're going to see and hear an awful lot about that in the weeks ahead. So again, thanks for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
On the field, taking risks is part of the game. Every yard, every play. It's about going all in. But when it comes to your money, it pays to be careful. With the careful service from First National Bank and Trust, you can detect unusual activity and stop fraud before it happens. Protect yourself and the ones you love with Careful, because being smart off the field is the real win.
We're here for you.
Initiate re-entry.
Life's better when you're under our roof because you'll feel protected.
Good thing we're covered.
And safe drivers can save too. Also, your family's free too.
Drink fearlessly.
And you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive.
Welcome home.
So while they're dreaming, you're saving. Customize what you pay with Drive My Way. American Family Insurance.
The Hansen Museum of Logan, Kansas is where history and creativity unite. For over 50 years, we've been your cultural hub, offering a diverse range of exhibits, from captivating Lego brick displays to timeless joy of Bob Ross's art. But we're not just a museum, we're a community gathering space. Join us for thrilling events like Murder Mysteries or celebrate creative talents at one of our many events. At the Hansen Museum, we're not just preserving the past, we're creating memories for the future.
We are taking wheat to the next level. As a producer of vital wheat gluten, advanced biofuels, and important co-products. Amber Wave. Vital. Reliable. Sustainable.
Hello, we're back, and we're here with Trent Weinman. He used to be my neighbor, so it's good to see him here. We're here to talk about his new role as Public Works Director for the city of Phillipsburg. Always a good role to step into because he's been here all of his life, so Phillipsburg is home to him, so he's very familiar with everything that goes on around here. And so, Trent, what do you have for the first year that's coming up? I know you kind of stepped in and just have a lot of organization and things like that in your mind and how you want things to go. So what are you?
Well, the first thing was to get staffed again. We've done a really good job on that. We're getting to where we can continue normal operations and get back into putting water lines in, getting our streets repaired, getting curbs, gutters, so on and so forth. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Summer help, we're doing a great job. We are getting to where I'm fully staffed summer help down at the street shop again, And I'm also lifeguards. We are looking very good on too. We've sent out
good.
28 letters, which
Nice.
is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
And
we're moving
staffing
right
is
along.
hard right
It
now.
is.
And
It is.
it's not just in Phillipsburg. It's everywhere. It is so hard to keep good people and, to get, I don't know, I don't want to sound negative, but, to get young people to want to step up and take jobs.
And we're seeing that.
Yeah.
I've had an influx of applications, and unfortunately, we only have so many spots. But I'm keeping them to the side, ready, just in case. So that's a good problem to have.
Yes, yeah. If you have too many,
Yes, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. It's always nice to have somebody to keep in your pocket, just to, if I need you, then you're there for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
That is a
you're
good
right.
thing to go with. So, okay, so Public Works balances long-term planning with day-to-day needs. How do you manage both effectively?
Well, I manage both effectively by really having the right people in the right spots to manage those day-to-day operations for me. They do a phenomenal job, and they make me look good, which is always a plus, right?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Whether it be John Ward, Kent Futh, Devaney out at the pool, Brad, and the girls up at the office, Brandy. They do a phenomenal job of the day-to-day, and without them, my first month, we'll say, I wouldn't be doing as good as I'm doing right now. I can tell you that.
Well, and I'd say, walking in and having all these long-term employees, plus you were one of those long-term employees
I started
a
off
while back.
I started off on the
So-
trash truck, and
Yeah.
I had a little stint in there where I went out to Amber Wave, which they were phenomenal to me as well. But then my heart was kind of always here, so I came back.
Yeah.
And
Good.
we'll see.
We're glad to have you around.
Well, thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So, okay. So long-term growth and quality life in Phillipsburg. How do you foresee that,
Well,
pursuing that in your position?
That's the objective, right? To forward think enough to where we start bringing things back into Phillipsburg to grow the community. However, not being too forward thinking to where we forget about what's here too.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the fun part of the job is, you're constantly looking forward, but you're also looking at what makes it more efficient. What can we get here to help the citizens of the town? I've got a bunch of ideas. However, being so new, looking at budgets, we'll see. You always got big ideas, but at the same time,
Right.
sometimes those ideas are a little too big.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
It's different when you, I think when you go into, and because, I did it with my position as well, when you're an employee and then you move into the director position, there are a bunch of little pieces that you didn't get your hands on before as an employee, and then it kind of...
What also, in my opinion, benefits on that side too, is that I got to see a lot of pieces that need attention that may be overlooked when you don't serve in those roles. So
That's
I had
true.
the pleasure
Yeah.
of working down at the street shop for, 9 years.
Yeah.
I also got my water license to go out. I'm not an operator out there. I just kind of, filled in when needed, but, to kind of understand that process. I did transportation, and so I understand kind of Delvin's process a little bit, not as much as they do. They're the experts. But, out at the pool, I went out there to help with certain things. So as far as the operations go, I feel like I'm pretty well-rounded when it comes to that. Now, the learning curve is the administration side, and it's coming. We're getting there.
Yeah.
It's just going to take a little bit of time, and I'm not going to
Baby
make
steps.
huge promises right now.
That's right, baby
Yeah,
steps.
yeah.
How do you eat an elephant? One
Piece
bite
at
at
a
a
time,
time.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So are your kids proud of you? Do they think it's just the coolest thing in the world?
They do.
Yeah.
And hi, Owen, Eli, Sophie, and Liam. The main thing that they're learning through this experience is that you can start somewhere and put pride in something and work towards a goal. And it's really good for them to see that, you always hear the stories of people, oh, you'll succeed if you do this or that. And they got to see it. And I'm really stressing to them, if you work hard, if you do the
Right.
right things, if you know, so on and so forth, you can attain your dreams, right?
Right,
So
right.
that's a good thing.
No, I think so, and I think it's a good opportunity. You're in a position where you can show your kids, service
Yep.
to your town and
Yep.
what you do, and they can take pride in that, and that goes on to into their adulthood as well.
Well, and then
so-
balancing your professional life with your
exactly
home life too. I mean,
Right.
that's something that they need to see as well. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah. Your dad was pretty good teacher for you.
yeah,
on
he
that,
showed me
too.
a lot.
Yeah.
My dad and my mom.
Yes.
They
yes.
showed me a lot. so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, and everything's going good on West G. That's
Yeah.
like the best
Yeah.
neighborhood you can live in Phillipsburg, I think.
Well,
so.
we're a little biased on that, right?
Yes. So, but yes, it was good to have you here. I'm glad that
Thank
you
you.
were able to come in and talk to us a little bit and about what we're doing. And so, any big projects you're working on right now that?
I inherited a few projects, and they're great. They're good projects. They're big projects. There's a fuel farm out at the airport. There's a sidewalk project going on that has some exciting things in it. I don't want to get the cart ahead of the horse and
Right.
announce all of that because it's still kind of being designed. But it's the day-to-day operations are what I was really focusing on at first, like getting to where we don't have to use so much. Not that the contract work isn't great. APAC with their valleys and their gutters have been making improvements all over town, and that's great. But I'd like to bring some of that back in-house, save a little bit of money, and to start banking some of that again. And
Yeah.
we're getting staffed to the point to where we can do that, which is great. That's
That
always
is
a good thing.
Yes, that is good. So, well, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming in.
thanks for
and
having me.
Yeah, we'll hope to have you on here again and keep us updated.
There you
So,
go.
Okay. Right.
If your vehicle is pulling, shaking, or just doesn't feel right, don't ignore it. At Coombs West Shop, we're more than alignments. We offer engine repair, routine maintenance, wheel alignments, and tire services, including new and used tires and tire repair. One shop, honest work, done right the first time. Call Coombs West Shop at 785-543-6647.
At Farmers National Bank, we believe that strong foundations are built on faith, hard work, and everyday heroes. For over a century, we've been proud to serve the communities that have made us who we are today. We honor everyday heroes who dedicate their lives to serving others. You inspire us to treat every customer with the respect and care they deserve. At Farmers National Bank, we know that strong communities are built on strong foundations, and we are proud to be part of yours. Farmers National Bank, honoring strong foundations since 1921.
Are you looking for reliable insurance options in Phillipsburg, Kansas? Look no further than Rahjes & Associates Insurance. Our team is dedicated to providing great options for home, agriculture, auto, and commercial insurance. Whether you're a homeowner, farmer, or business owner, we have the coverage you need to protect what matters most. Trust us to provide you with personalized service and competitive rates. Contact Rahjes & Associates Insurance today to learn more about our insurance solutions.
Welcome back. We're here with Brenda Chanley. She is the owner of Blossoms and Butterflies Flower Shop here in Phillipsburg. She will be the Chamber Business Spotlight for May. So we thought we'd have her on and just interview her and find out some of the fun things that Blossoms and Butterflies offers, and then maybe kind of highlight a little bit too what's coming up for Ladies' Night Out tomorrow. So. Okay, so what inspired you to open your own flower shop?
Well, I started working back in 91, 92 at Kwan's Floral, delivered, and then started doing a little designing, and then Sherry Robinson opened the greenhouse up and made a floral shop and asked me to manage it, so I moved over there with her and just loved it. I love everything about the flower shop. And then when she closed the shop, I just honestly didn't know what I was going to do. And my husband said, you know what, why don't you just open your own?
Yeah.
And so I did.
Yes.
And that was in 2012.
And it's been very successful.
Yes, it's been, and I'm really proud of it. We've done really well.
Yeah.
My daughter works for me, and so full-time. And
And so will that be a succession plan?
Yes.
So when you're ready to
yes.
retire,
We're
she'll-
working on that. I'm to talk to Rance Ames a little bit, and we're going to try to get that done. And I'll still work there for a while, you know, probably quite a while.
Yes, yes.
I'm not ready to quit.
No. I mean, it's what you guys is truly do is an art. It is. I mean, it is. I just say that because I attempt it with my flower farm, you know. But I like the growing. What you guys do is beautiful and amazing.
Thank you.
I can't do what you do anywhere near it. But
Well, we're lucky that we've been buying some flowers from you.
Yes.
And that's a nice way to support another business.
yes,
You know, because it's just great that you can do that, and it's phenomenal. You can keep them growing in this weather.
Oh, I know. Well, like I was saying earlier, I am concerned about this summer. I think it's going to be
Yes.
hot and dry, and let's just hope there's enough water in the well for
Yes.
it. So, but yes. So what inspires you for your different arrangements that you come up with? What do you see things, or does it just come in your head?
I just start designing and it just comes, basically. That's how I do it. Doris Camphy told me that she envisioned her arrangement completed and then started on it. I don't do it that way. I just go with it.
Okay, you just start. So,
Start.
So do you start with like a focal, or do you start with your filler? What do you start
I usually
with?
start with my greenery, and then that just helps know how much, because if you don't, you can get too many flowers.
Right.
You know, and you want to try to keep the cost down. And every bloom costs, and
Right,
so you have
right,
to
it
charge for
does,
those.
yeah.
And so if you start with your greenery, and then I add my main flowers, my focal flowers, and then just fill in.
So when you see like a certain vase or something like that, it doesn't. You think, oh, that would, that particular flower, like a peony, would be great in that type of vase, or
Yes,
whatever. Yeah,
definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And the trends go. I mean, right now the little mound rosy posy things are really popular. Everybody wants those.
Oh, okay.
And those probably are about the easiest to make, so that's great.
Yes. And now, do you ever do some of the, how some of the more abstract, where they've got?
I've tried a few. Mine usually don't turn out great. That's a little harder than it looks.
And I think you do get to a certain where it's like, this is your style. This is
and that's definitely not mine.
Yeah. You've always been so good at supporting local businesses and working with the community and things like that. We have an event coming up Friday, Ladies Night Out. And I know your shop is like one of the hot spots because you've always got games and sales and things like that. So what do you have coming up on Friday?
This time we have bonus bucks, bounce back bucks is what they're called. And if you spend $30, you get a coupon for $15 on your next purchase. If you spend $60, you get $20, and if you spend $90, you get $30. And so if you spend that night, you're going to have money to come back and spend again.
Yeah.
We have a photo booth type area, because ours is Take Me to Paris.
Yes.
And so we got little berets to wear and get your picture made. We're going to have a flower bar where you can make your own little a wrap, not an arrangement, a wrap, and you can take it home with you. We got a game looking for the Eiffel Towers in our store. We got them hidden all over the store. And everyone that correctly guessed how many we have will be entered into a $50 gift card. And everyone that's wrong will be entered in probably like a $25 one. So even if you don't know the right answer, you enter anyway.
That'll be fun. That will be really good.
That'll get people looking around, we thought.
Yes, it will. And looking at what else, because it's not just flowers that you offer. You have all kinds of gifts and items like that that are good for, like if you just want to put a gift basket together for somebody or something like that.
We do a lot of those, yes.
Yeah.
Especially on Mother's Day.
So they can just call the shop and say, can you just put something together
this
for
amount
me?
of money, and we put it together for them.
Nice.
Yes.
That's okay.
And we have free delivery in Phillipsburg still, so.
Nice. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, and then Ladies Night Out is tomorrow, 4 to 7. Weather looks beautiful,
Yes.
which I don't think we've ever had a beautiful Ladies Night Out. But
Not in a long time.
no, and then we have record amount of stores and vendors that will be participating as well. So I hope we get a
Good turnout.
Yes, a good response. I realize it is the same day as the track meet, but if you have time in between events, you can come to downtown and you can look around and
Yep.
I really like what the businesses are putting out there for things to do, and I think it'll be great. So
Yeah, I'm really excited about North Fork doing their little
Yes.
charcuterie. That's
Yes.
a fun thing, I think.
Yes.
I wish I could attend it, but maybe she'll do another one.
Well, she did say she still has some openings. Someone had told me that they had tried to sign up and thought they were full, but they are not. They do have more openings for their charcuterie board, so
Yeah,
they'll be
that'd be fun.
showing. Yes, and then we've got Wallmeyer Vineyard, who's in Jennings, Kansas. They're coming
Oh.
over. They'll be in the same building with
Oh, so you can
Norfolk.
have a little wine tasting.
Yes, so you can do some wine tasting
Perfect.
with local Kansas wine. So yes, it goes with our sip, shop, and savor theme. So we're going vineyard theme, and I think it'll be great fun. So yes, well, we hope that Blossoms and Butterflies continues on, and it's
we plan
wonderful
on.
that Becky is
Planning on.
Yes, because your children don't always want to do what you want them to do.
Yeah. Well, she's, based here, and it's just perfect for her. And she does like all the buying because she has a knack for knowing what other people will buy. I buy what I like, and that's it. It's a very narrow thing there.
Yes.
And she can see beyond that.
That is difficult.
It is.
Yeah. I have found that even with growing, because there's some things I don't want to grow, but people love them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And so I'm like, but it takes forever to harvest that flower. So yes.
Yes, that's the way it is.
Yeah. But well, it was great to have you on
Well,
here.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad as I thought. Not my thing.
No, well, it's not my thing either, but here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. See you later.
We'll see you.
Phillips County